Hello, everyone.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Good
or
evening. Yeah, throw that
wherever
in
you
there
are in
too.
the world. Yeah, please
Good
let
night,
us
perhaps.
know where you're tuning in from, right?
Yeah, we've already seen a whole bunch of people weigh in. We have St. Louis or St. Louis, depending on how you say it. Scott likes to tease me about that a little bit. We got New Delhi. Madagascar, wow,
Wow, that's
Germany,
so cool.
We're all over the place. That's pretty fantastic.
That's amazing. Hey guys, so here we are again, another week.
For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, my name's Lindsay Munro, and I work on the social team for Adobe XD.
Hi.
And who is this?
I am Demian Borba. I'm a strategic development manager, also working on XD, and here we are, close to the XD team. I was one of the first product managers for XD. Mm-hmm. Now my focus is really connecting with you guys, key customers, and bringing all that feedback back to the product team. So this is really for you. So if you have questions, if you have feedback, if you have feature requests, anything that you need regarding XD, please use this channel. Again, this is really for you guys, and we're really, really happy to bring that knowledge, that feedback back to the product team.
We also have a hello from Canada, the Netherlands, Bucharest,
nice.
And we have someone local in the Bay Area. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's great to have you here today.
Very, very cool.
So we have lots of in store.
Yes.
As per usual, including a very special sneak of a really exciting feature. I think it's exciting. I hope you guys do too.
Yeah, we have more, but I'm only allowed to show you one thing.
It's true.
So maybe two.
It's true. You might show two.
Yeah, so
I'm always the one reining them in. So
yeah, and again, if you have questions on the roadmap, where things are, features that you requested in user voice, again, anyone that wants to influence how XD evolves can go to adobeXD.uservoice.com.
Yeah,
and you can vote on an existing feature there. And if you do that, you subscribe to it, meaning that when the product manager responsible for that feature changed the label, the status from, let's say, feature started to feature completed, you get a notification. So just go to adobeXD.uservoice.com and you can upvote for things there. Cool.
Nice. We also have Mexico and
Mexico.
Atlanta. I'm so impressed by our international audience. It makes me so happy that people are tuning in from all over. So thank you again.
Yeah.
So exciting sneak. We're going to talk about symbols a little bit.
Yes.
We also have a pretty cool event happening this week, which we'll talk about too. But, we want to build up a little anticipation. So we're going to save the best for last. So you guys have to stay tuned.
Oh, one other thing, we have
that sneak.
This week, we have a Creative Jam in Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
And I'll be there with Valhead and a couple more people. So if you're in Philadelphia and you want to attend the jam, please go. And if you're in a city that wants a jam, please let us know.
Demian.
We can totally
what is a creative jam?
All right, a creative jam is a creative event, almost like a hackathon for creatives.
Yeah.
So you spend competitors there. They spend 3 hours using XD to develop a prototype based on a theme that's normally kind of crazy, and it's interesting.
Yeah, the theme is come up with the night before the event, and it's usually something. So it's a true challenge. Let's put it that way.
The way I explain this is really like a hackathon for creatives. So you have 3 hours to come up with something, and then we have talks from thought leaders there as well. And it's a great opportunity to chat and collaborate.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of something for everyone at a creative jam. So for those that sign up in advance, you can actually participate and be part of that 3-hour design challenge where you have a platform to present and we promote your work and you have a chance to win some really cool awards. But then there's also the opportunity to just join as an attendee and take in some of those talks. And there's usually free beer.
Yeah, great drinks.
Usually some drinks,
good
and
food.
Great food, local food.
Yes.
We try to highlight sort of some of the city's best depending where we're going.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way to connect with the community. And I've known people who aren't UX designers that have attended creative jams and they really like it. So it's a good thing if you have friends in the creative community or people you work with. It's a fun night out. It really is.
Yeah, and again, if you really want one in your city, please let us know. We can really promote that with the decision maker. Then who knows, maybe we can do another one in your city. Cool.
And we've dropped a link to Creative Jams in the chat area, so you guys can go find out if one's coming up in your city, and you can always tweet at us and we'll definitely pass along that feedback.
Awesome. Besides knowing that people are coming from all over the place, do we have questions already before
Do you have
we
any
start?
questions? That's
Or feature
no
requests?
questions, but apparently if you are ever in St. Louis, Scott will show you where the best pizza can be found. So that's pretty important.
That's
I think
wonderful.
we should
Yeah,
note
that's
that.
wonderful.
Also, I hope at least one of you takes him up on that. I know I will.
Yeah,
one
and
day.
if you have like tips for Philadelphia as well, like I would love to learn from it.
Yeah, I think there's, Philly's known for their cheesesteak
Oh, yeah,
sandwiches.
yeah.
But I don't know. I have a feeling like I imagine the locals cringe at that. Like it's like one of those things you just don't.
It's
necessarily-
too touristic. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I'll give it a try.
maybe.
Another thing I'm planning for that is the Rocky Run. Like
oh,
the
cool.
running. I don't know if it's safe, but I'll do some research. All right,
Nice.
back to our stream. Let me switch to my screen here very quickly, and here I have my Twitter open. And the first thing I like
That's
to
us.
that's us. Yeah. The first thing I like to show before I get into the sneak is one thing that's super, super important. And the more I talk to customers, the more I hear this. Like, what's your favorite feature in XD? And I hear this from multiple people. It's called performance. I never imagined that performance was treated as a feature, but it
is. You got to get stuff done.
It is so fast, right?
Yeah.
It is so fast. And to prove that, I brought this file. I showed this a couple times, but I want to show this again to prove that. Here I have a file from our friends at Boosted Boards, and they have a website design for the desktop full of type, like the typography. You have bitmaps, you have vectors, like every little icon here is a complex vector. I also have the mobile version of this desktop, but if you zoom out, you can see I keep zooming out in this file.
1,500 artboards.
It has 1,500 artboards, and you can zoom in and out with no problem whatsoever. So performance is really there since day one. So it's not that we did features, now we're going after performance. No, performance is there since day one, and it's really, really important.
For those of you who have tuned in before, you probably will have seen this screen, but I don't think it gets less impressive or less exciting, at least in my mind. But a question that has come up is about animation in XD. Like, I think micro interactions, micro animations. Do we have anything that we can talk about there?
Yeah, I think the first recommendation is go to user voice if you can. There you can see where features are, if they're started. And one thing that we mentioned a couple times as well is that last year we focused a lot on getting Windows and Mac reaching parity. Now that we have the same level of features, you can expect a lot more features in design this year. But one side of XD that will evolve a lot this year is prototyping. And that includes overlays, fixed headers, fixed elements in general. It could be headers and footers, like fixed elements, overlays, and micro interactions. So we are doing the work for that. You take a while, we're doing a lot of tests, but yeah, you can totally expect that. And the area that, in my opinion, will evolve a lot is prototyping. So
Awesome. Well, I'm sure Martin was really happy to hear that. Martin, you also had a feature request. As we mentioned earlier, for those of you that have features you'd like to see in XD, feel free to weigh in here because, of course, if we have any insights, we'll share it with you. But again, follow the link to User Voice. It's a great place for you to log your feature requests and upvote existing requests. So
totally, and you can see where things are, right? You can see our transparent backlog is right there. All right, cool. So let's talk about symbols. I wanted to talk about symbols last time, but we had so many questions that
I know, which is awesome, right? That's like
totally.
a good problem to have, is when you guys ask lots of questions. So,
and for that, I'll create a new document here, and just to explain where things are. Let's say you're designing a card, right? So this card that I'm planning will have a shape. Let me do one from the center, and I'll do like something like that. I'll do a border that's a little wider. Then I will create a rectangle to be like the card, and you can use the rounded corners here. I'll send this to the back.
The rounded corners.
Yeah. And let's center this guy so it's I'll make this bigger. And I also have like a name here, so let's say Adobe XD.
It's a good name too.
And I'll center, and here let's say it's gonna be Futura. bigger, and I can do a ball. One thing that's there in XD that people, not everyone knows already, is that if you go to object and text, we have ways to not only have underline, but also to increase and decrease the file size, the text size, by using the shortcut. So you can do it here or here. It's there for you.
It's very handy.
It is.
So let's say we wanted to put a dash line on this. What is the easiest way to do that
Dash
currently?
lines is something that we are working on the core design side of XD. If you really need that, you have to bring it from Illustrator, and you can bring that via Creative Cloud libraries. You can also copy and paste, and it works. Or you can be creative and use a repeat grid to do like a dashed line, not the
repeat grid is a
scenario,
technique I've seen a bunch.
Yeah, you can do like a dashed line, and you can change. But again, this is a workaround, and we are doing the work to support that natively here in XD. Cool. So now that I have this, let me get rid of. I have a very thin border here, and I'll add shadow. Cool. And let's say I now need to reuse this for multiple people. I want a card for Lindsay. I want a card for me. How can we do that?
Cards for everyone.
So the first thing you can do is you can open the asset panel here, and you can select all the elements that will become a symbol, and then you can click here to create a symbol. So now that's a symbol. Or you can right click and say make symbol, or Command K on Mac, Control K on Windows.
So like one of the biggest benefits of a symbol is the fact that it's a number of grouped elements that
Yes.
you use a lot, or you plan to repeat multiple times throughout your design.
Yes.
So you want to be able to not only recreate it, but edit it really quickly.
That's so on point. Perfect. Then let's say let me play with this symbol a little bit. I'll bring Lindsay's picture here. So let's search for her. Lindsay.
I'm on there.
Right here.
Twitter
And
famous.
I have this bitmap in the browser. I can click and drag into XD, and I can put it right there.
It was quick.
Yeah, and I can Lindsay Munro. Perfect. So that's let's say your card there. You can even make this like if you want a gradient. A lot of people ask about gradients. Let's say I want to make this guy almost like a lighter gradient like that.
It's a nice
and
gradient. I approve. I sign off on my card.
You can change it here if you want, and it's because we're Adobe, we can do this like a red or maybe a white. Nice. Let me make, and you can also add a shadow to this one to let it pop a little bit.
Nice.
Cool. So I have like this fancy, nice card. Now let's say I need one for me. I can do it in two ways. I can drag another instance here, and symbols in XD are very, very smart. So one thing you can do is you can override text. So I can say, okay, I'm overriding the text, and you can override images. So you can go there.
I hope so, because I can see where there'd be some confusion there.
Images, yeah.
We're twinning out a little hard.
And then from Finder or Windows Explorer, you can drag that, right there. So it's now inside that guy. So I'm overriding not only text, but also images. Of course, if I make structural changes to my symbol, it's reflected everywhere. I can make this bigger. This one is like that.
Wow, these guys look ready to do a live stream. These are like official live stream cards.
But then let's say that at one point, so this is how you have symbols, and I'm overriding text and images. We're also working on overriding colors and more things, but for now that's why we can override.
So is there anything that we're working on about adding different colors for symbols?
We're doing the work for that, but we don't have it yet. So if you really need to have, let's say, colors, one thing that you can do, not the ideal solution, is I can do, let's say, it's a workaround. Let's say I want to have green or blue like that. What you can do is you can select this guy, and then you can export as a single PNG. Let's save it in our desktop. This would be blue. And I can also do another one, and I'll make this one orange. and I will also export Command E, and this will be orange. And one thing that you can do is, let's say I have inside my symbol, I have a rectangle that will be like that, almost like a thin line on the bottom. And you can center this. Let's make sure everything is centered. And now that it is centered, let's make this a little thinner. This is a shape. This is a simple shape, a rectangle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that you can drag bitmaps into shapes. So what you can do is you can grab those two colors. Again, not the best solution, but it's a workaround. And I can make that blue. And if I want this one now orange, I can override the bitmap there with the orange one. So that's how you would do something like that to achieve the same result. Not ideal, but it's there.
Mm-hmm. Can you override SVG vectors and symbols?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
That's
so it's bitmaps and text.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so another thing that's important in symbols is you can, let's say I have a bunch of Lindsays here.
A bunch of Lindsays. It's a party.
And I have the same symbol everywhere, but then I make a change. Like I want to say, I have the right bitmap, I have the right text. I want to make this guy now the canonical version. I want to make this one my symbol. So what you can do is select that symbol and right click, and you can say update all symbols. So now it's going to update.
Now we have a bunch of Demians.
It's going to be all me. So it's going to update all symbols there.
Still a party.
Yeah. So that's symbols today, and there's a lot of progress coming. Moving forward, we're going to have like more overrides, more flexibility. But talking about, I think this is a good bridge to the sneak. So I was
sneak time?
I was planning to do two, but maybe I can do the first one really related to symbols.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Any questions so far there?
So I've been slipping them to you as they've been coming through, but one thing that was asked about is like you can't resize or reposition the bitmap within the circle though, right?
No, that's a great question.
So you drag it in
Let's explain that. So every time you have a shape and you drag a bitmap on top of it, that becomes the fill of that shape.
Got it.
And there's no way to move it around yet.
Just automatically centers within that shape.
It becomes the fill, so it does the magic to align there. But we are doing the work to allow you to treat it almost like a mask. But if you really want that today, you have to do it as a mask. So what you can do is you can drag, let me show you that in action. I'll get the image, that same image that I had there. So I have an image here, and then if I want to have control of my mask, I have to, let me do a circle here, an ellipse. So you said, ellipse, I released before.
Now you a little too click happy there.
You select both, and then you do object mask with shape, or the shortcut Command-Shift-M. Now this is a mask, a real mask. Then I can double click to move where the image is or where the mask is. And because the mask is a path, I can double click and change the path almost like that. And that's how you have more control over it. But we are doing the work to allow you to do a similar thing with shapes that have fills, like image fills.
Mm. So the development team for Adobe XD, where are they located? We're kind of all over.
Yeah, we have people here in the U.S.
We do.
A lot of people here in San Francisco behind us. We also have people in India and in Romania.
Yeah.
Doing work
awesome.
For XD.
So not a secret.
It's a very talented team, very dedicated team, and they're doing amazing work everywhere. Yeah.
Cool. There was a question here, or maybe more of a statement. Have you fixed the problem when you publish a site, it does not fit to browser screen and scrolls? Does that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We had, let me open a file here that has something like that. UI kit. Let's grab one that has a nice web scenario. So here I have our wires UI kit that you can get for free. Just go to File, get UI kits, wireframes, and here we have a bunch of cases for, let's say, the web. and one of them is this portfolio one. So I'll copy this, I'll create a new document here, and I'll paste that artboard, and let's see how big this is a little big for a website, but let's change it to 1280 just to make it more realistic for a web project. Then nice, if I publish this now, as you know, you can publish this as a prototype, as a public link. Normally, if you see this on the web, this will be, if you resize your project, it will resize. I think that's what's happening with that person there. So if I resize this, it's going to resize. And if it's a website, you don't always want that. So let me make this longer. Like we're going to have more text here, and more text. And let's say we have more areas here to be.
Look at that repeat grid in action.
Yeah, something like that, right? And
sure.
I have like it can scroll. And let me create scrollable areas here. I'll do like 900 to be my scrolling area. Actually, let's let none. So it's gonna exemplify that a little bit better. Then I can go there and update that same link. And if I see this, let's see if we finished. Yeah, I can refresh, and it's now scrolling a little bit, but again, it is resizing. And for websites, what you want is really to have this 100%, almost like a real website, no distortion, no resizing. So if you want to achieve that in the web prototype, you have to go full screen. And once you go full screen, now it is at 100%. So
and you get
now,
the full scroll effect.
Yes, it really behaves as a website.
Cool.
So if you have a prototype, it will work as a prototype. Things will remain perfect that way.
Okay, Demian, we're running out of time.
Okay.
Just give us some sneaks. It's
All right, sneaks.
It's time.
Did that answer that question?
I hope so.
Okay.
I think so. If not, get in touch. All right.
Right. So
sneak time.
Two sneaks.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly. The first one is, and I heard this is coming very soon to XD. I think Paul mentioned
very
that.
Very soon. Well, someone was asking when the next update's coming, and
yeah.
Wow.
And you're gonna have a bunch of things,
soon.
the live streams this week, so very soon. All right. Let's say I have a project here. Let's say I grab the UI kit from Apple, and I have a bunch of elements here. Let's say I have cards here, and this card here is a symbol, right? But up until this new update, if you copy and paste into a regular document, this will come as a group and not as a symbol.
Right.
So what's the first sneak is that if you create a new document now and I copy that, and I'll have my assets panel here. Now that I copy it as a symbol, if I paste, it comes as a symbol.
You can see it. It's in the
and it's already here.
now.
So I can say XD weekly. I'm overriding the text, right? And you get the idea. And then I can update all symbols. So that's the first sneak. And this will help a lot of people that have design systems in one file and need to copy and keep things consistent. So this is there for you. Will be there for you very, very
soon. Not yet. Coming soon.
Yes.
Okay, one more sneak.
And the
show
other
show us something exciting.
Yeah, this is exciting. But
this is exciting.
There's
Sorry,
a bigger thing. We know that there's a lot of people today that have UX design work in Photoshop.
Yes.
So and they have their templates, they have their artboards and all that, but if they need to start prototyping, they have to jump into a different project, and it's chaotic, right? So what we'll have soon is the ability to go to File, Open, and you could pick a PSD, a Photoshop file, and XD will do its magic to convert all tags, everything that's vector.
I think that deserves a thumbs up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is gonna help a lot of people. So it's making the conversion, it's converting all the vectors to vectors in XD, all the bitmaps, all the things, and it's all here. So this was a Photoshop file.
PSD to XD, simply just by opening the file.
And another thing that's interesting here, I had this Photoshop file was 85 megabytes, right? Let's save this XD document that has the same content in the same location, and let's check the difference.
What?
1.5 megabytes.
That is some Adobe magic right there.
Yeah, so now I can say, for example, now that this is an XD document, I can copy, let's say, this.
So what about the layers? What happens to the layers?
It's all here. I mean, we did, I will say, it works with 90% of the things. There's still things, for example, vertical alignment, layer styles, things that are not supported in XD, and we're treating them as bugs, and we're fixing them for the next release. So the first time to open a Photoshop file is now, but next month there are going to be some bug fixes, and all the things that are not working correctly will be fixed.
So again, this is just a sneak. It's coming soon to XD. We've got a really exciting week planned starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. We will be doing a 3-day UX focused live stream with our friends at Adobe Live. It says behance.net/live. And you can follow us on here and on Twitter for updates around that. We'll be directing you that way.
Yeah. So that was it.
That's it. Thank you all. Oh, hang on. Maybe we can answer a couple more things before we wrap.
Okay.
We have 1 minute. Okay. So when are we going to have an update about fixed elements and scrolling artboards? Soon.
Yeah, we're working on it. That's being worked on.
What about snapped objects so it doesn't scroll? We just asked that question. We just answered it.
Yes.
All right, guys. I think that's a wrap for this week. We will be back next week. I don't know if you noticed, but we bumped our time a little bit. We're going to be coming to you live at 11 a.m. moving forward. That's because we will be streaming all about Adobe XD over on our YouTube channel with Paul Tranny's at 10 a.m. on Monday. So you have back-to-back XD goodness Monday mornings.
Yes.
You know, just to fight those Monday blues. You can get in there learning something new and join us. So thanks for tuning in. If you liked what you saw today, give us a like or a share, and we'll be back next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
See you
next
later.
Week.
Bye.